Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you, Dee and Goldie. Good to see you, Darlene and Jeff. Good to see you, Susan. And if anybody new's here. I don't know. Christopher, welcome in. Good to see you. Love you. I hope you're doing well. All right, I don't know where the puppy went. I gotta keep an eye on her. I'll be right back. I called her and she ain't coming. She's loving running all over the house. I just gotta watch her because I don't know if there's anything she can get into. I'll be right back. Liberty, where are you? What are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? Are you just enjoying yourself? Huh? Okay. Boy. Okay, it's okay. Okay. All right. Yes, all the people on Rumble. Hello. Good to see you. Love you. So did everybody have a good day? I don't think I need air conditioner in this house. It is so cool in here. I got the windows open. It feels so good. I don't know what the temp is outside. It was pretty hot today. But it's it's what is it? I haven't heard from my sister. She had surgery today and nobody's heard from her. Talked to my sister in Florida. They haven't heard from her. I text her. She hasn't texted me back. Gosh, who knows? Darn it. Where'd my look there? Oh, there it is. It was 78 today. It's 72 right now. But it's windy. Oh, that light's too bright. So I'm in the apartment. I'm staying here tonight. I still have a lot to do to get everything taken care of, but I think I can get it done. I'm gonna stay up tonight for a while, and I got the kitchen almost done. So the bedroom's almost done too, and the living room too, actually. So it's just this room that I'm in, and yeah. Tina, welcome in. Good to see you. Love you. Midwest? You slept all day? Good to see you, Midwest. Love you. But I am staying at the apartment tonight. And let me tell you, this Miss Liberty loves it. She runs all over the place. She's so happy. She can get up on a bed. I bought her a new bed, which she's in it now. She loves just going wherever she wants to go. It's pretty cool. I did not find my blankets. No, I had to go buy new. That little storage, oh my gosh, there's so much little stuff in there and there's bags in there. And I'm like, I'm so tired. And then I fell today, carrying stuff. So yeah, I got tired of looking. So I'm just like, I'm just going to go buy it. Oh, chat thingy. I'm sorry. Thank you, Tina. So what are you chewing on, Liberty? Oh, your toy. What is that? Oh, your starfish. So I didn't get hurt when I fell. I caught myself. I should have never been outside unloading my car with my slippers on. And I slipped and fell in the grass. Hey, Susan, tell everybody on Rumble we said hi and love them. I don't, comments on stage comments. That's what it is. So, but Liberty's so happy. I bought her a new bed, a new blanket, a couple new toys today, and the chat thingy. Works for me. So I got a lot to do. This place has a lot of work. I got empty totes sitting all over. I want to take them back to Joey's tomorrow and put them in the basement because he's going to use them when he moves once he sells his house. So I said, well, I don't have room for them, so I've got 6 of them right now. Nikki took 4, so that's 10. So there's still, I had 27, so at least 10 running still here that I haven't sorted out yet. Hi, Jeff. Love you. Oh, wow, Midwest. Why couldn't you sleep? You just one of those things you couldn't sleep? Now, see, my other sister's texting me. She's kind of freaking out because nobody's heard from. Oh, okay. So my sister, Daddy in Florida, said she's fine. I'm talking to her now. She said they put a stent in her pancreas. She said she will go home tomorrow. I don't like those stents. I think they're bad. I don't think anybody should get stents, but because they come loose and then you got metal floating in your bloodstream. My doctor wouldn't. My vascular doctor would not do stents for nothing. Even when I had my open heart surgery and had to have a, what's wrong with Tracy? Oh my gosh, I missed it. She's storming there. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tina. Everything's good though, so that's good. So my sister's fine. She's going home tomorrow, so that's good. So tonight will be our normal things we do, and then we're gonna watch the rest of uh yeah, that's good. Everybody needs time. Yeah, I'm never moving again. I don't care. I'm not moving. Liberty's so happy here. She's sleeping in her new little bed I bought her. Oh yeah. I can take naps anytime and still go to sleep. But I'm a night owl for the most part. Oh, we love Miss Betty. We love you, Miss Betty. All right. So we're gonna do our normal and then watch Daniel. And I'm going to afterwards get stuff put away. I've been sorting like yard sale stuff and Goodwill stuff. Liberty's so cute. I should snap a picture of her. Yeah, let me do that. It's got to be wherever I'm at. Although today I was busy in the kitchen, so she was pretty much in the bedroom watching TV, laying on the bed, and then or out here beside me and wherever I was. Hey, SL20, good to see you. Love you. I'm hoping to be done by Friday, but today's Tuesday, so at least most of it done. Joey's going to hook up the washer and dryer Friday, Saturday. I mean, he gets off work Friday, it'd be too late, but he can do it Saturday, he said. And now let me ask you a question. So my washer and dryer, I always kept very, very clean. The washer is still very clean. But I opened up the dryer today and it had so much like dirt in it. I don't know why. I couldn't believe how dirty it is. I'm gonna have to use the vacuum to clean it out because there's no way I'm getting it all that dirt. I don't know the whole, but why it's on the inside of the drum is beyond me. I forgot to say something to Joey about it, and I did find the leg to my washer because Joey said he thought it was still in the storage. He thought someone picked it up, but they didn't. Yes, you can come here. What'd she do, Tina? What'd she do? Clean the filter? Like in the dryer? There's a filter besides the one that I always clean out. That's always clean. But this is inside the drum. I don't know where it came from. I've never seen nothing like it. The washer's fine. Unless something got up in there through because the vent was off. Something, a mouse or something might have got in there and just made a horrible mess. Oh, you did. I remember that, Tina. I saw that. That was funny. I gotta say, that was funny. Hmm. Oh, goodness. I don't have my footstool for this, and my legs are too short. You're divorcing her. Anybody got any rain today? You know, I'm hungry. I need to eat. I was gonna make a muffin, but I left the butter and stuff at Joey's house. So I'm not gonna do that. I might make some mozzarella sticks after this, put them in the oven because I don't, oh, I think the air fryer's in the other compartment. So I'm just gonna eat a coffee cake. You have a little rain? It didn't rain today or yesterday. It was so beautiful. Yeah, no, we had rain forever, darling. Me and Cindy both did. And Dee. And maybe even Bit. I don't know if it's gonna when it's gonna rain again. Um, nope, no rain. Tomorrow's just gonna be cloudy, 77. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week. It's just gonna be in the 70s and sunny. I love it. Oh, you having it right now, Darlene? I think last week we had a total of, for the whole week, 6.2 inches. And like where I live now, the park's right over there, and all those houses across the street from me have really low-lying backyards, and it was all flooded. Flooded pretty good. That's true. That's true, SL20. Oh, Darlene, we'll be praying that you stay safe. I love peanut butter and honey. I didn't think about bringing any of my food over here. Brought all of Liberty's food, but not mine. You had a cheeseburger, peas, fake au gratin potatoes. That sounds good. Jamie, good to see you. Love ya. I watched your interview the other day. It was really good. I didn't watch it when it was live because I was busy moving, but I went back and watched it. Yeah, I won't. I'm not. Liberty goes to get her hair cut tomorrow at 1, so I'll have 2 hours where I can not have to worry about her if she's at home barking or whatever. She doesn't bark. Even when I went outside today to bring stuff out of the car, she just waited at the door for me. They were. They were definitely bad. Well, they don't get bad here. We just ban them as soon as they walk in. We already know. Yeah, they don't have anything else to do, so they gotta start attacking other people. People like us now. We just ban them. Everybody in here is a mod, so and I like it like that. I keep it that way. That's right, Tina. Poof, they're gone. And if they do it while we're doing prayer or watching our movie or our Bible study, and I just send it to YouTube and they take care of it because they can't do that to a Christian channel. That's going against our constitutional rights. Oh, did they, Jamie? Make sure you save that video. Most of the time, they're too afraid to do anything, but they talk big and bad. So, do you guys like that Spencer Pratt for California or LA mayor? I think he's hilarious. And he is leading. And Karen Bass tried to, was it? I saw. Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Jamie. I understand because you don't know what they're doing. Yeah, it is sad. Yeah, Spencer he was cracking me up with his videos he makes. And Karen Bass she's losing. But I heard she tried to fix the election. She's already doing that. I didn't read anything. I just heard it. All we can do is boot him and then pray for him. Pray that God smacks him in the head. It is, Tina, you're right. Oh yeah, I saw that too. SL20 just before I came live. I saw that. Corn is gone. Yay! Oh, was he? Oh, good for him. Oh, good, Jamie. Good. Good. I'm glad you're writing the book and I'm glad Dana's working with elections. Oh, did they? Oh, good. Well, they should be locked up right now. Right now, just lock them up. Go to jail until we sort it out. That'll make him think twice about trying to cheat. I don't care if you're Democrat or Republican or independent or what you are. You cheat, you need to go to jail. So what happened to him? SL20, anything? They get arrested or no? Don't cancel our votes just because you want to cheat. I don't care, like I said, who it is, which side it is. Because if you're on our side and you're canceling votes, you're not canceling my vote. You're canceling somebody else's vote. Oh, really? Chip Roy? Eh, who's he running against? Well, that sucks. I kind of like Chip Roy. I don't really know a lot about him. It's yeah, all of them, every one of them. I agree, Tina. I agree. Liberty has not had a nap all day today, and now she's taking a nap. Well, no, she's looking at me. She's not taking a nap. I saw just briefly, I saw something going on in New Jersey, New Hampshire, New Jersey, riots or something like that. At the some ice facility or something. Oh, okay. Paxton? Oh, okay. I like Paxton. I mean, I hear good things about him. Is he a big talker? No. Well, that's not good. He won't last. I haven't even got anything hung up yet. Everything's still, nothing's hung up. There is, Jamie. There certainly is. My opinion of these people that continuously do like what they're doing in Portland and what they're doing in LA and in Chicago, they don't care because I was watching Cam Higby and he was talking to him and they just spew out what the news says. And then when Cam's like, well, show me proof, and they're like, well, go look it up yourself. And Cam's like, you don't have to look it up. I'm not, you're the one trying to make a point, and you're not making your point because you don't have any proof. Trump is eating kids, and Trump is R-ing kids, and here. Trump's all over the Epstein files. Where's the proof? What do you do? And then they can't find anything like they say, and then they get mad and leave. I love it. Mays Middleton. Who is that? Gosh, I haven't been watching anything. I've been so busy for almost 2 weeks now. Busy. Yeah, see, I don't know any of these people. Thank you, Chris. 4 minutes. Pass it back. And I have such a bad backache. There'd be my Tylenol. Let me get me some Tylenol. I think they're in the purse. Oh, be right back. Mama got, well, I'm not going anywhere. I'm just getting some Tylenol. Well, good figure. Bring it back over here. Okay, I'm back. We got 3 minutes. Oh, really, Jamie? Oh, I would have loved to seen that. Oh, I don't need that many. Work. Harmy Dillon is investigating the Maryland fraud. All Democrats with no oversight think it's an upgrade. Oh, okay. Good. Goodness. My back hurts bad. Oh, yeah, Fanon's a piece of trash. Bye, Chomper. Welcome in. Good to see you. Love you. All right, let me find this. Get ready to go. It's go time. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. 1 minute. God. Hey, let's get ready to go. Here we go.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight, o'er the ramparts we watch, words of gallantly streaming. And to the republic for which it stands, and the rocket's red one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Next, for the soldiers who have given the ultimate sacrifice. You're welcome, darling. Now for our American citizens that were taken away brutally, murdered by illegal immigrants. Rest in peace, angels. Good girl. That's a good girl. Keep trusting God. Amen. Amen, amen, amen. All right. Okay, so no, Jamie, I can't because, I get a copyright strike every night when I play the J6 song. Every night. It says copyright. If you go look at my videos, it says copyright on every one of them. But then when I click on it to find out what's copyrighted, it's the J6 song, but it does not affect my channel. So why you give me a copyright then? They took my memberships away because I wouldn't do the AdSense or something, show ads. And I told them I didn't want to. That's not what I'm doing. I don't want payment from ads. I just want memberships. But they took them away, and so fine, keep them away. I don't care. I'm not here to make money. I'm here to try to make some money for other people to help everybody out that needs help. But apparently you're not even allowed to do that. Jay Keeps, welcome in, welcome in. Good to see you, my friend. Love you. Why is this doing this? I can't even see the chat. It keeps showing X comment or new comment, but there's not anything new there. Maybe if I move it up. I'm all the way. Okay. There we go. I had to fix it. So yeah, I still play the J6 or I don't care. What are you gonna do? Take my channel away from me? I'll just make another one. So we'll watch the rest of the movie, and then Tina will be live tomorrow night. Y'all. I'm going to be rearranging things in my house, my apartment for the next few days. I'll be on at nighttime. Take a break. Liberty, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Get away from that bag. Get away from there. You leave that alone. That's a no-no. Oh. Okay, are we ready for the rest of the movie? I don't know how much we have left. I tried to stop it right where it was half. Anybody have any prayer requests? Any new prayer requests? I checked my email. I didn't see nothing. Thank you for praying for my sister. She came through surgery fine and is going home tomorrow. So I appreciate all the prayers. Keep Christopher in your prayers. Keep Dee, Goldie, and Dee's dad in your prayers. Tina, Sky, and Tina's dad in your prayers. Carrie, Teacup, both Cindy's and Mel and their families. Whenever you think of someone, just pray for them. Christopher, keep Christopher in your prayers. He is in the hospital still. Uh-oh. Yes, pray for those in the path of these horrible rains. I know we didn't get floods, but where the park is, there's the Sandusky River runs through it, so it always floods back there. Like some of the country roads were flooded, but nothing major. And the farmers' fields were flooded. Liberty, what do you got? What do you got? Oh, you're chewing on your toy. Okay. So keep all the people with the floods and the rain and the storms. Okay, Jamie. God bless you. Love you. Praying for you. Thanks for coming in. All right, we're going to get started on our rest of Daniel. The story of Daniel. Daniel, the prophet of end time. Oh, I need to turn my... Is my speaker? Okay, so it's still on. So I'll be muted. So when I come back, remind me to unmute myself. Love y'all. Well, it won't let me mute it. What is going on? Let me cancel it.
Couldn't be trusted to interpret it correctly. Whatever his reason, he had made up his mind. Verse 5 makes it even clearer. Anyone in the Babylonian Empire had to attend this ceremony. Verse 3 continues, so the satraps, prefects, governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. And they stood before it. Can you picture this scene? Thousands of officials from all over the empire gathered on the plain of Dura, standing before this massive golden image, the sun reflecting off the gold, making it shine brilliantly, the crowd stretching as far as you could see, the sense of power and pageantry. Then something happened that changed everything. Verses 4 and 5 tell us, then the herald loudly proclaimed, nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. A herald, an official announcer, shouted out the king's command, and he made sure everyone understood. This command was for everyone, every nation, every people, every language, no exceptions. When you hear the music, and he listed all the instruments, horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, you must do something specific. You must fall down. You must worship the image. This wasn't a suggestion. This wasn't an invitation. This was a command. And verse 6 makes clear what would happen if you didn't obey. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown into a blazing furnace. The penalty was death. Not prison, not a fine, not exile, death. And not just any death, being thrown into a blazing furnace, one of the most horrible ways to die imaginable. Burned alive, and notice the word immediately. There would be no trial. No chance to explain yourself, no appeal. If you didn't bow down when the music played, you would be thrown into the fire right away. The king had made his demand crystal clear. The consequences were laid out for everyone to hear. Now all that remained was to see who would obey and who would refuse. Verse 7 tells us what happened next. Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, and all kinds of music. All the nations and peoples of every language fell down and worshipped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. The music played, and everyone bowed. All the nations, all the peoples, every language. Thousands of people falling down on their faces before the golden image. Everyone obeyed the king's command. Everyone except 3 men, but some people noticed. Verse 8 says, "At this time some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. These were Babylonian officials, likely some of the same magicians and astrologers who had failed to interpret the king's dream years earlier. They had seen Daniel and his friends promoted to high positions. They had seen these foreigners given authority and honor, and they didn't like it. This was their chance to get rid of them." Verses 9 and 10 record what they said. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, "May the king live forever. Your Majesty has issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of gold, and that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown into a blazing furnace." They started by reminding the king of his own decree. They repeated it word for word. They wanted to make sure the king remembered exactly what he had commanded and what the penalty was. They were building their case. Then came the accusation. Verse 12, "But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, your Majesty. They neither serve your gods nor worship the image of gold you have set up." Notice how they worded this. They didn't call them by their Hebrew names. They used the Babylonian names the king had given them, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They reminded the king that he had given these men positions of authority. "You have set them over the affairs of the province of Babylon." And then they made it personal. These men pay no attention to you. They're not just breaking a rule. They're disrespecting you personally. They neither serve your gods, they reject your religion, nor worship the image of gold you have set up. They reject your authority. This was a calculated accusation designed to make the king angry. And you'll notice something interesting. They only mentioned 3 names. Where was Daniel? The Bible doesn't tell us. Maybe he was away on official business. Maybe he was sick. Maybe for some reason he wasn't at the ceremony. We don't know. But his 3 friends were there, and they had refused to bow down. The accusers had seen them standing while everyone else was on their faces. They had watched these 3 Hebrew men remain upright while thousands around them bowed down. And now they were reporting it to the king, hoping for the king's fury to fall on these foreigners. The accusation had its intended effect. Verse 13 tells us, "Furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego." So these men were brought before the king. The king was furious. These were men he had personally promoted, men who owed their positions to him, men who should have been grateful and loyal. And they had defied his direct command in front of thousands of witnesses. But interestingly, the king didn't immediately throw them into the furnace. He gave them a chance. Verse 14 records what he said. "And Nebuchadnezzar said to them, 'Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up?'" He asked them directly, "Is this true? Did you really refuse to bow down?" He wanted to hear it from them. Maybe he hoped the accusers had been wrong. Maybe he hoped there was some explanation. Or maybe he just wanted to give them one more chance to submit. Verse 15 continues, "Now when you hear the sound of the horn, flute, zither, lyre, harp, pipe, and all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I made, very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" The king laid it out clearly. Here's your second chance. When the music plays again, if you bow down, everything will be fine. All will be forgiven. You can keep your positions. You can keep your lives. Just do what everyone else did. But if you refuse again, you will be thrown into the furnace immediately. No more chances. No delays. And then the king added something revealing. "Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" This was no longer just about enforcing a decree. This was personal. This was the king's pride speaking. He was essentially saying, "You think your God can save you from me? I'm the most powerful man in the world. I command armies. I rule an empire. What God can stand against my power?" This was a direct challenge, not just to the three men, but to their God. Nebuchadnezzar was throwing down the gauntlet. He was saying, "Let's see if your God is real. Let's see if he can save you from my furnace." The king had turned this into a contest between himself and the God of Israel. The three men didn't need time to think about their answer. They didn't ask for a moment to discuss it privately. They didn't try to negotiate or find a compromise. Their response was immediate and clear. Verse 16 begins, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, 'King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter.'" That's a remarkable way to start. They weren't going to make excuses. They weren't going to explain or justify their actions. They weren't going to defend themselves. What they were about to say would speak for itself. Verses 17 and 18 continue, "If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up." Let's break down what they said, because this is one of the most powerful statements of faith in the entire Bible. First, they affirmed their faith in God's power. The God we serve is able to deliver us from it. They had no doubt that God could save them. God had the power to protect them from the fire. God could deliver them from the king's hand. They believed this completely. Second, they expressed confidence that God would deliver them, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand. They trusted that God would act on their behalf. But then, and this is crucial, they added something that shows the depth of their faith. "But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up, even if God doesn't save us, even if we die in that furnace, even if the outcome isn't what we hope for. Even then, we will not bow down. We will not serve your gods. We will not worship your image." This is faith that doesn't depend on getting what you want. This is faith that says, "I'll trust God even if he doesn't do what I think he should do." This is faith that obeys regardless of the consequences. They weren't bargaining with God. They weren't saying, "God, if you save us, we'll serve you." They were saying, "We'll serve God no matter what happens to us. Whether we live or die, we belong to him." And notice they made this statement directly to the king. "We want you to know, your majesty." They looked the most powerful man in the world in the eye and told him calmly, clearly, and with complete conviction, "We will not bow to your image. Our loyalty to God is not negotiable. You can kill us, but you cannot make us worship false gods." The king's reaction was immediate and extreme. Verse 19 tells us, "Then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude toward them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual." The king was beyond angry. He was furious. His face changed. Literally, the text says, the appearance of his face changed toward them. His expression twisted with rage. How dare these men defy him? How dare they choose their God over his command? And he didn't just order them thrown into the furnace. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. 7 times. This was overkill. The furnace was already hot enough to kill someone. But that wasn't enough for Nebuchadnezzar. His pride had been wounded. His authority had been challenged. He wanted these men to suffer. He wanted their death to be a spectacle. He wanted to make an example of them so terrifying that no one would ever dare disobey him again. Verse 20 continues, "And commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. He called for the strongest soldiers, not just any guards, but the most powerful men in his army. Why? Maybe because he thought these 3 men might resist. Or maybe because the heat would be so intense that only the strongest men could get close enough to throw them in. Either way, he was taking no chances. Verse 21 adds a detail that seems small but becomes significant. So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. They were bound up, tied with ropes so they couldn't escape, and they were thrown in fully clothed. The king didn't even give them time to remove their outer garments. He wanted them dead immediately. The robes, the trousers, the turbans, the other clothes, everything went into the fire with them. Then comes verse 22, which describes something unexpected. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. The furnace was so incredibly hot that the soldiers who threw the 3 men in were killed by the flames. Just getting close enough to throw them in was fatal. The heat was so intense that these strong soldiers, these men chosen specifically because they could handle difficult tasks, died instantly from the heat. Think about that. The furnace was hot enough to kill someone just from being near it. And Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego had been thrown into the middle of it. Verse 23 confirms, and these 3 men, firmly tied, fell into the blazing furnace. They fell into the fire. Tied up, unable to move, wearing all their clothes, they dropped into the flames. By all human logic, by everything anyone knew about fire and heat and human bodies, they should have been dead in seconds. Their bodies should have been consumed immediately. This should have been the end of their story, but it wasn't. Something happened that no one expected, something that defied all logic and reason. Verse 24 tells us, then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire? The king suddenly jumped up. He had been watching, probably from a safe distance, and he saw something that made him leap to his feet in shock and amazement. He turned to his advisors and asked them a question that should have had an obvious answer. Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire? Of course there were 3 men. Everyone had just watched it happen. Why would the king ask such a strange question? Verse 24 continues, they replied, certainly, your majesty. The advisors confirmed it. Yes, 3 men. We all saw it. We all watched them get thrown in. What's the problem? And then the king said something that changed everything. Verse 25 records his words. He said, look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like a son of the gods. 4 men, not 3, 4, and they were walking around, not lying still, not being consumed by flames, walking, moving, alive, and they were unbound. The ropes that had tied them up were gone. They were free and they were unharmed. The fire that had killed the soldiers who threw them in, the fire that was 7 times hotter than usual, wasn't hurting them at all. But the most shocking part was the 4th man. Where had he come from? 3 men had been thrown into the furnace. Now there were 4. Who was this 4th person? The king said he looked like a son of the gods. In Nebuchadnezzar's pagan understanding, this was the only way he could describe what he was seeing. This 4th figure didn't look like a normal human. There was something divine about him, something supernatural, something that spoke of the presence of deity. Who was this 4th man? The Bible doesn't tell us explicitly here, but most people believe this was a pre-incarnate appearance of Jesus Christ, what theologians call a Christophany. This was God himself, in visible form, walking in the fire with his faithful servants. When they were thrown into the furnace, they weren't alone. God was with them. The God that Nebuchadnezzar had challenged, what God will be able to rescue you from my hand, had answered that challenge, not by preventing the 3 men from being thrown into the fire, not by putting out the flames, but by entering the fire with them, by being present with them in their suffering, by protecting them in the midst of the flames. Nebuchadnezzar's response to what he saw was immediate. Verse 26 tells us, Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here. The king who had just condemned them to death was now calling them to come out. And notice what he called them, servants of the Most High God, not rebels, not traitors, not criminals. servants of the Most High God. He acknowledged that they served a God higher than him, a God who was, in fact, the Most High. The king approached the opening of the furnace, probably as close as he could get without being burned himself, and shouted for them to come out. This was an order, but not an angry one. This was shock. This was awe. This was a man who had just witnessed something that shattered his entire understanding of reality. Verse 26 continues. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. They walked out, calmly, in their own time. They came out of the blazing furnace that had been heated 7 times hotter than usual, the furnace that had killed the soldiers who threw them in. They walked out alive, and what did people see when they emerged? Verse 27 describes it, and the satraps, prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair of their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched, and there was no smell of fire on them. All the high officials who had gathered for the dedication ceremony crowded around to see. And what they saw was impossible. The fire had not harmed their bodies at all. Not burned skin, not blistered flesh, nothing. Not a hair of their heads was singed. Think about that. Hair burns easily. It catches fire quickly. But not one hair on their heads had been burned. Every hair was intact. Their robes were not scorched. Remember, they had been thrown in fully clothed. Those robes should have been burned off their bodies immediately. But the robes looked like they had never been near fire, and there was no smell of fire on them. When you're around fire, even if you don't get burned, you smell like smoke afterward. Your clothes absorb the smell. But these 3 men didn't even smell like they had been near fire, much less inside a furnace. The only thing the fire had destroyed was the ropes that bound them. They had gone in tied up and come out free. The fire had released them from their bonds, but touched nothing else. This was a complete, total, undeniable miracle. And everyone saw it. This wasn't something that happened in private that only a few people witnessed. All the important officials from across the empire were there. They all saw these 3 men thrown into the fire. They all saw them walk out unharmed. There was no way to deny what had happened. Verse 28 records Nebuchadnezzar's response. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God." The king praised God, the same king who had built the golden image and demanded everyone worship it. The same king who had asked, "What God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" Now he was praising the God of Israel. He acknowledged that God had sent his angel, his way of describing the 4th man in the fire, and rescued his servants. And the king acknowledged something else. These men had trusted in God. They had defied the king's command because of that trust. They had been willing to die rather than worship any other god. And their God had proven worthy of that trust. Verse 29 continues, "Therefore I decree that the people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces, and their houses be turned into piles of rubble. For no other God can save in this way." The king issued a new decree. Anyone who spoke against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego would be severely punished. Why? Because no other God can save in this way. Nebuchadnezzar had witnessed something that proved beyond doubt that this God was real and powerful in a way that no other God was. And then, verse 30 tells us the final outcome. Then the king promoted Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego in the province of Babylon. They didn't just get their lives back. They didn't just get their positions back. They were promoted. They received even higher positions than before. The men who had been condemned to death for refusing to bow were now honored for their faithfulness. They had stood firm. They had refused to compromise. They had been willing to die for their faith. And God had vindicated them in the most public, most dramatic way possible. Years had passed since the fiery furnace. Daniel had grown older and kings had come and gone. Now a new king named Belshazzar sat on Babylon's throne. And in the first year of his reign, Something happened to Daniel that would change everything. God was about to show him the future in a way he had never experienced before. Chapter 7, verse 1 tells us, "In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream, and visions passed through his mind as he was lying in bed. He wrote down the substance of his dream. This was different from before. Daniel wasn't interpreting someone else's dream anymore. God was giving him his own visions, and what he saw was so important that he immediately wrote it down. He didn't want to forget a single detail. Verse 2 describes how it began. Daniel said, "In my vision at night I looked, and there before me were the four winds of heaven, churning up the great sea." Picture this. Daniel saw the great sea being stirred up by winds coming from all four directions. The water was turbulent, violent, churning. This wasn't a calm scene. This was chaos. Verse 3 continues, "Four great beasts, each different from the others, came up out of the sea." Four beasts. Not normal animals. These were creatures unlike anything in the natural world. Each one was different, and they came up from the churning sea. Verse 4 describes the first beast. "The first was like a lion, and it had the wings of an eagle. I watched until its wings were torn off, and it was lifted from the ground so that it stood on 2 feet like a human being, and the mind of a human was given to it." A lion with eagle's wings. The lion was the king of beasts. The eagle was the king of birds. But then its wings were torn off. It was made to stand on 2 feet like a person, and it was given a human mind. Verse 5 describes the second beast. "And there before me was a second beast, which looked like a bear. It was raised up on one of its sides, and it had 3 ribs in its mouth between its teeth. It was told, 'Get up and eat your fill of flesh.' The bear raised up on one side, and in its mouth were 3 ribs, as if it had already devoured 3 victims. Then it was commanded to eat more flesh." Verse 6 describes the third beast. "After that I looked, and there before me was another beast, one that looked like a leopard, and on its back it had 4 wings, like those of a bird. This beast had 4 heads, and it was given authority to rule. A leopard with 4 wings and 4 heads. This beast was given authority to rule, and its rule would be swift. Then came the 4th beast." Verse 7 describes it. "After that, in my vision at night I looked, and there before me was a 4th beast, terrifying and frightening and very powerful. It had large iron teeth. It crushed and devoured its victims and trampled underfoot whatever was left. It was different from all the former beasts, and it had 10 horns. This beast was so terrifying, Daniel couldn't even compare it to a known animal. It had iron teeth, and it crushed everything, and it had 10 horns. Verse 8 continues, "While I was thinking about the horns, there before me was another horn, a little one, which came up among them, and 3 of the first horns were uprooted before it. This horn had eyes like the eyes of a human being, and a mouth that spoke boastfully. A little horn appeared and uprooted 3 of the other horns. And this horn had human eyes and a mouth that spoke boastfully. Suddenly, the vision shifted. Daniel wasn't looking at beasts anymore. He was seeing something that took place in heaven itself." Verse 9 describes what he saw. "As I looked, thrones were set in place, and the Ancient of Days took his seat. His clothing was as white as snow. The hair of his head was white like wool. His throne was flaming with fire, and its wheels were all ablaze. Thrones were set up. This was a courtroom scene, a place of judgment. And the Ancient of Days took his seat. This was God himself. His clothing was pure white. His hair was white like wool. His throne was on fire, burning with holy judgment." Verse 10 continues, "A river of fire was flowing, coming out from before him. Thousands upon thousands attended him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The court was seated and the books were opened. Fire flowed out from God's throne, and surrounding him were countless attendants. The court was in session. The books were opened." This was Judgment Day. Verse 11 tells us what happened to the 4th beast. "Then I continued to watch because of the boastful words the horn was speaking. I kept looking until the beast was slain and its body destroyed and thrown into the blazing fire." The little horn kept speaking boastfully. But then judgment came. The 4th beast was killed and thrown into fire. Verse 12 adds, the other beasts had been stripped of their authority, but were allowed to live for a period of time. The other three beasts lost their power, but continued to exist for a while. Then Daniel saw something amazing. Verses 13 and 14 describe it. In my vision at night I looked, and there before me was one like a son of man, coming with the clouds of heaven. He approached the Ancient of Days and was led into his presence. He was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations and peoples of every language worshipped him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion that will not pass away, and his kingdom is one that will never be destroyed. One like a son of man. This figure looked human, but came with the clouds of heaven. He approached God and was given authority, glory, and sovereign power. All nations would worship him. His kingdom would last forever. Time passed, and Daniel received another vision. Chapter 8, verse 1 tells us, in the 3rd year of King Belshazzar's reign, I, Daniel, had a vision, after the one that had already appeared to me. This was the 3rd year of Belshazzar's reign. God was giving Daniel another vision with more specific details about the future. Verse 2 describes where Daniel was. In my vision, I saw myself in the citadel of Susa, in the province of Elam. In the vision, I was beside the Ulai Canal. Daniel wasn't physically in Susa, but in the vision he saw himself there, standing beside the Ulai Canal. Verse 3 describes what Daniel saw. I looked up, and there before me was a ram with 2 horns, standing beside the canal, and the horns were long. One of the horns was longer than the other, but grew up later, a ram with 2 horns. Both horns were long, but one was longer and had grown up later. Verse 4 continues, I watched the ram as it charged toward the west and the north and the south. No animal could stand against it, and none could rescue from its power. It did as it pleased and became great. This ram was powerful. It charged in 3 directions and conquered everywhere. No animal could stand against it. Then something new appeared. Verse 5 tells us, as I was thinking about this, suddenly a goat with a prominent horn between its eyes came from the west, crossing the whole earth without touching the ground. A goat appeared from the west. This goat was incredibly fast. It crossed the earth without touching the ground, and it had a prominent horn between its eyes. Verse 6 describes what happened. It came toward the 2-horned ram I had seen standing beside the canal and charged at it in great rage. The goat charged at the ram with great rage. Verse 7 continues, I saw it attack the ram furiously, striking the ram and shattering its 2 horns. The ram was powerless to stand against it. The goat knocked it to the ground and trampled on it, and none could rescue the ram from its power. The goat completely destroyed the ram. It shattered both horns. The ram that had been so powerful was now powerless. Verse 8 tells us what happened next. The goat became very great, but at the height of its power, the large horn was broken off, and in its place 4 prominent horns grew up toward the 4 winds of heaven. The goat became very great. But at the peak of its power, the large horn was broken off, and 4 prominent horns grew in its place. But the vision wasn't finished. Verse 9 describes something else. Out of one of them came another horn, which started small, but grew in power to the south and to the east and toward the beautiful land. Out of one of the 4 horns came another horn. This one started small, but grew toward the south, the east, and toward the beautiful land, Israel. Verse 10 continues, it grew until it reached the host of the heavens, and it threw some of the starry host down to the earth and trampled on them. This horn grew so great, it reached toward heaven. It threw down some of the starry host and trampled on them. Verse 11 makes this clearer. It set itself up to be as great as the commander of the army of the Lord. It took away the daily sacrifice from the Lord, and his sanctuary was thrown down. This horn exalted itself to be equal with God. It took away the daily sacrifice offered to God, and it threw down God's sanctuary. Verse 12 continues, because of rebellion, the Lord's people and the daily sacrifice were given over to it. It prospered in everything it did. and truth was thrown to the ground. Because of rebellion, God's people were given over to this horn. The daily sacrifice stopped. The horn prospered. Truth was thrown to the ground. Then verse 13 tells us, "Then I heard a holy one speaking, and another holy one said to him, 'How long will it take for the vision to be fulfilled?' The vision concerning the daily sacrifice. The rebellion that causes desolation, the surrender of the sanctuary, and the trampling underfoot of the Lord's people." Daniel heard angels talking. When asked, "How long will this last?" Verse 14 gives the answer. He said to me, "It will take 300 evenings and mornings. Then the sanctuary will be reconsecrated." The answer was specific, 2 to 300 evenings and mornings. After this time, the sanctuary would be cleansed and restored. Daniel was trying to understand what he had seen. Verse 15 tells us, "While I, Daniel, was watching the vision and trying to understand it, there before me stood one who looked like a man." Someone appeared who looked like a man. This was an angel. Verse 16 continues, "And I heard a man's voice from the Ulai calling, 'Gabriel, tell this man the meaning of the vision.' A voice called out, commanding the angel, 'Gabriel, explain this vision to Daniel.'" This is the first time Gabriel is named in the Bible. Verse 17 describes what happened. "As he came near the place where I was standing, I was terrified and fell prostrate. 'Son of man,' he said to me, 'understand that the vision concerns the time of the end.'" Gabriel approached, and Daniel was terrified. He fell face down. Gabriel told him this vision concerns the time of the end. Verse 18 continues, "While he was speaking to me, I was in a deep sleep, with my face to the ground. Then he touched me and raised me to my feet." Daniel fell into a deep sleep, but Gabriel touched him and raised him up. Verses 19 and 20 record Gabriel's explanation. He said, "I am going to tell you what will happen later in the time of wrath, because the vision concerns the appointed time of the end. The two-horned ram that you saw represents the kings of Media and Persia." Gabriel explained the ram. The two horns were Media and Persia, joined together as one empire. Verse 21 continues, "The shaggy goat is the king of Greece, and the large horn between its eyes is the first king." The goat was Greece, and the large horn was the first king, Alexander the Great, who would conquer Persia with incredible speed. Verse 22 adds, "The four horns that replace the one that was broken off represent four kingdoms that will emerge from his nation, but will not have the same power." When Alexander died, four kingdoms would emerge from his empire, divided among his generals, but none would have Alexander's power. Verses 23 through 25 describe the little horn. "In the latter part of their reign, when rebels have become completely wicked, a fierce-looking king, a master of intrigue, will arise. He will become very strong, but not by his own power. He will cause astounding devastation and will succeed in whatever he does. He will destroy those who are mighty, the holy people. He will cause deceit to prosper, and he will consider himself superior. When they feel secure, he will destroy many and take his stand against the Prince of Princes. Yet he will be destroyed, but not by human power. This fierce king would arise when wickedness reached its peak. He would be cunning. He would become very strong through another power. He would cause terrible devastation. He would destroy God's people. He would prosper through lies. He would exalt himself even against God, but he would be destroyed, not by human power, but by God." Time passed, and Daniel was studying scripture. Chapter 9, verse 2 tells us, "In the first year of his reign, Daniel understood from the scriptures, according to the word of the Lord given to Jeremiah the prophet, that the desolation of Jerusalem would last 70 years. Daniel was reading Jeremiah's prophecy about 70 years of desolation. That time was almost up. So Daniel prayed. His prayer in verses 3 through 19 was a confession of sin. He acknowledged that Israel had rebelled against God, had not obeyed his laws. He pleaded for God to restore Jerusalem and his sanctuary. While Daniel was praying, verse 21 tells us, While I was still in prayer, Gabriel, the man I had seen in the earlier vision, came to me in swift flight about the time of the evening sacrifice. Gabriel appeared again, flying swiftly to Daniel at the time of the evening sacrifice. Verse 22 continues, "He instructed me and said to me, 'Daniel, I have now come to give you insight and understanding.'" Gabriel came to give Daniel insight. Verse 23 records, "As soon as you began to pray, a word went out, which I have come to tell you, for you are highly esteemed. Therefore consider the word and understand the vision." As soon as Daniel started praying, God sent the answer. Gabriel told Daniel he was highly esteemed by God. Verse 24 states, 77s are decreed for your people and your holy city to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy place. 77s, 70 weeks of years or 490 years, were decreed for Israel and Jerusalem. During this time, 6 things would be accomplished. Transgression would finish, sin would end, wickedness would be atoned for, everlasting righteousness would come, vision and prophecy would be sealed, and the most holy place would be anointed. Verses 25 and 26 provide detail. Know and understand this. From the time the word goes out to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the Anointed One, the ruler, comes, there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. It will be rebuilt with streets and a trench, but in times of trouble. After the 62 sevens, the Anointed One will be put to death and will have nothing. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. The end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolations have been decreed. From the decree to rebuild Jerusalem until the Messiah comes would be 69 sevens, 483 years. After this, the Anointed One would be cut off, put to death. A coming ruler's people would destroy the city and sanctuary. Verse 27 adds, "He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 7. In the middle of the 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offering, and at the temple he will set up an abomination that causes desolation until the end that is decreed is poured out on him." 1 final 7 remained. A ruler would make a covenant but break it halfway through, stopping sacrifices and setting up an abomination in the temple. More years passed. Babylon had fallen and Persia ruled. Chapter 10 verse 1 tells us, "In the 3rd year of Cyrus, king of Persia, a revelation was given to Daniel, who was called Belteshazzar. Its message was true, and it concerned a great war. The understanding of the message came to him in a vision. Daniel was now an old man. He had served through multiple kings. In the 3rd year of Cyrus, he received a final detailed revelation. Verses 2 and 3 describe what Daniel was doing. At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over. Daniel had been fasting for 3 full weeks, praying and seeking God. Verses 4 through 6 describe what happened. On the 24th day of the 1st month, as I was standing on the bank of the great river, the Tigris, I looked up, and there before me was a man dressed in linen, with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like topaz, his face like lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and his voice like the sound of a multitude. Daniel saw a glorious being by the Tigris River. He was dressed in linen, with a gold belt. His body looked like topaz. His face was bright like lightning. His eyes blazed like torches. His arms and legs gleamed like bronze. His voice sounded like a great crowd. Verse 7 tells us, I, Daniel, was the only one who saw the vision. Those who were with me did not see it, but such terror overwhelmed them that they fled and hid themselves. Others were with Daniel but didn't see the vision, yet they felt terror and ran away. Verse 8 describes Daniel's reaction. So I was left alone, gazing at this great vision. I had no strength left. My face turned deathly pale and I was helpless. The vision drained Daniel completely. His face turned pale. He felt helpless. The being spoke to Daniel, explaining that his prayers had been heard from the first day. The being had been sent to answer but was delayed by spiritual opposition. This revealed spiritual warfare happening in heavenly realms. The being delivered detailed prophecies about conflicts between kingdoms. Chapter 11 describes wars, alliances, and persecutions in remarkable detail. Verse 36 describes a coming ruler. The king will do as he pleases. He will exalt and magnify himself above every god, and will say unheard of things against the God of gods. He will be successful until the time of wrath is completed, for what has been determined must take place. This king would exalt himself above every god, even speaking against the true God. The final vision reaches its climax in chapter 12. Verse 1 begins, "At that time Michael, the great prince who protects your people, will arise. There will be a time of distress, such as has not happened from the beginning of nations until then. But at that time your people, everyone whose name is found written in the book, will be delivered." Michael would stand up for Daniel's people. There would be a time of distress, unlike anything in history. But God's people, those whose names were written in the book, would be delivered. Verse 2 states, "Multitudes who sleep in the dust of the earth will awake, some to everlasting life, others to shame and everlasting contempt. The dead would rise. Some would awake to everlasting life, others would awake to shame and contempt." This was a clear prophecy of resurrection. Verse 3 adds, "Those who are wise will shine like the brightness of the heavens, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever." The wise would shine brightly forever. Those who led others to righteousness would shine like stars. Verse 4 gives Daniel a command. "But you, Daniel, roll up and seal the words of the scroll until the time of the end. Many will go here and there to increase knowledge." Daniel was told to preserve this prophecy until the time of the end. Daniel asked in verse 6, "How long will it be before these astonishing things are fulfilled?" He wanted to know when this would happen. Verse 7 gives an answer. "The man clothed in linen, who was above the waters of the river, lifted his right hand and his left hand toward heaven, and I heard him swear by him who lives forever, saying, 'It will be for a time, times, and half a time.' When the power of the holy people has been finally broken, all these things will be completed." The answer was a time, times, and half a time, likely 3.5 years. Daniel didn't understand, so he asked again in verse 8, "I heard, but I did not understand. So I asked, 'My Lord, what will the outcome of all this be?' Verse 9 answered. He replied, 'Go your way, Daniel, because the words are rolled up and sealed until the time of the end.' Daniel was told not to worry. The words were sealed until the end times. Verses 10 through 12 continue. "Many will be purified, made spotless and refined, but the wicked will continue to be wicked. None of the wicked will understand, but those who are wise will understand. From the time that the daily sacrifice is abolished, and the abomination that causes desolation is set up, there will be 1,290 days. Blessed is the one who waits for and reaches the end of the 1,135 days. The righteous would be purified. The wicked would remain wicked." Specific time periods were given, 1,290 days and 1,135 days. Finally, verse 13 gives Daniel a personal promise. "As for you, go your way till the end. You will rest, and then at the end of the days you will rise to receive your allotted inheritance." Daniel was told to go on with his life. He would rest, he would die, but at the end of days he would rise. He would be resurrected and receive his inheritance for a lifetime of faithfulness. If this story has impacted you, If Daniel's faith has challenged you, if these prophecies about the end times have opened your eyes to what's coming, don't keep it to yourself. Share this video with someone who needs to hear it. Click that subscribe button so you don't miss more stories that reveal God's power and faithfulness throughout history. And leave a comment telling us what's spoken.
Oops, my mic was muted. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Bite Jumper. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. We should be ready for tomorrow night for what Tina's gonna throw at us. We should ace it. I love you all. Let me turn my camera on. I love you all. Look at my hair. I even washed it this morning. I love you all. Stay safe. Smile at a stranger. Pray for our J6ers. Pray for each other. And always, always be kind. Remember to pray for Harry, Tina, Sky, her dad, Dee, both Cindy's, Carrie. I love you all. Thank you for being here tonight. Thank you, Rumble family. I'm sorry I didn't get over there. I'm going to start putting stuff away, trying to anyway. I love you. Peace. I'll see you tomorrow. Gator out.